Hello, all, and welcome back to another episode of the Fintech Diaries. If you're joining us for the very first time, hello. Quick introduction from me. My name is Jack Turrell. I'm one of the recruitment consultants here at MCS Group, and I specialize in financial technology recruitment. Over the last number of weeks, I probably should say months now, actually, I've been sitting down with a number of different senior leaders within fintech organizations, really to get their take on, I suppose, different topics, understand a little bit more about their business, the plans for their growth, etc., etc. Today, I actually had the pleasure of sitting down with Andrea Macdonald, and she is one of the co-founders of Avenir, who are a fintech startup currently leveraging AI for wealth management solutions. And they're actually currently making waves and onboarding a lot of clients at present. No more spoilers for me, though. Listen on to find out a little bit more coming up next. Good morning, Andrea. How's things? Thanks very much for coming on and joining me today.
Morning, Jack. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
No, all good, all good. So I suppose that before we get into learning a little bit more about Avenir, could you firstly give everyone a bit of a background about you? Who is Andrea Macdonald?
I mean, it's a fantastic question. Usually one that I probably prefer having with a glass of wine or something. But sure, we can go ahead. So first and foremost, I think it's probably quite interesting. My background is, I mean, from my name, you probably wouldn't tell, or from my accent. But I was actually born in Spain and raised in Spain. Yeah, I moved to the UK when I was 18, study university. It's been a little while since then. I moved around quite a bit, did my master's, had quite a few jobs, and ended up in London, which is where we're based now with Avenir and myself. And I think what's probably interesting to highlight from my background, and maybe that'll come up as some of the points that we can talk about today, is really entrepreneurship and the kind of mindset around that. So actually, I don't think I could have called myself an entrepreneur when I was young, but definitely I think I can date that entrepreneurial mindset back to when I was a lot younger, close to when I was 16. So something that's a bit fun fact, I suppose, is I probably started creating, let's say, organizations and ventures. When I was 16, I remember with a group of friends, we put together an organization, worked with NGOs in Spain and partnered up with some of the largest ones to really organize sporting events that were regional to fundraise. So I think those kinds of experiences started to really shape me as I grew older, and starting businesses and entrepreneurship is something that I've seen as I've grown older. And I've really started building ventures from either hobbies or, things that I saw in my day-to-day life where there was a specific pain point that hadn't been solved or I hadn't found the right solution. So I built something around it. And I think that's something that is quite interesting about myself, I suppose, if we talk about background. But actually, it's not exclusive of my background itself. So when it comes to my career, I've always really worked in finance and financial services, mainly in B2B and larger corporates, always in roles within marketing and partnerships. And I think that's something that's really key to where I am today. And so it dates back this whole journey of, entrepreneurship and ventures, and then working with large corporates within finance is really Avenir is the culmination of all of the above. So at Avenir, I'm one of the co-founders and I'm the chief commercial officer. So I look after everything that's under sales, marketing, partnerships. And I think that's kind of a nice summary of probably my background, my experience and where I am now.
Excellent. Fantastic. Thanks for giving us an overview of you. Okay, in terms of Avenir then, look, what does Avenir do then?
It's a fantastic question. So essentially, at Avenir, we really help financial advisors and paraplanners generate suitability letters in minutes, which I know sounds quite, generic. But actually, what we've done is we've built an AI-powered suitability report writer, where essentially advisors can upload all the documents they have from their clients, which typically is a lot, an average of around 8. And we all know those documents are very, very lengthy and have a lot of information. So they will upload all of the documents on our tool. Essentially, our AI reads all of this information, extracts the key data, then shows it to the advisor. The advisor will validate the information, and then the AI will use the information that has been validated and actually generate a report based on this information. So we really streamline this process, which on average takes about 4 hours per client and per report to under 20 minutes. So this is something that we're really proud of, and it's the key focus of our business.
Amazing. So whether it be sort of excited about that or scared, but sounds very cool. What about in terms of the background of then the company itself, and maybe perhaps some of the challenges that you guys have faced to date?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very good question. And I think what I'm probably going to do when I start off with this question is start with the biggest lesson that we've learned to date.
Okay,
And then from there, I can backtrack.
go
So,
for it.
the biggest lesson that we've really learned to date is focusing really on solving a real problem. And what I mean by that is actually, what do your clients actually need? Not what you think your clients need, but what do they actually need? And the reason I say this is because as a company, we're still quite young. We're actually just around, I want to say we've just hit the year or just over a year mark. And as a startup, we were accepted, into Techstars, which is one of the largest accelerator programs in the world, quite early on. And we graduated from this program late last year. And throughout this program, we actually did a lot of what we call pivoting, trying to figure out exactly where we wanted to be within finance. So we explored a lot within sustainability data. We explored a lot within private markets and trying to find a solution or a pain point that could be solved within these areas. And when we came out of Techstars, we focused on a solution which was personalizing investments. So personalizing ETFs. And we loved this product. And we really thought this would be the product that everybody would see great value in and they would need, because personalization is key, right? Everybody wants personalized everything. So why not personalize your investments? Especially because in the US, this is something that has seen big traction. So we thought we can bring it into the UK, we can bring it into Europe. So we graduated from the Techstars program, fundraised, expanded our team, built this amazing product to personalize investments, and went to market. And what happened was we spoke to wealth management firms and financial advisors. They all said the same thing. We love the product, but it's not a priority. The reason why it's not the priority is because it doesn't solve our current pain points. So we went back to square one. We went back to speaking to hundreds of firms and really delving deep into what their real pain points were. And honestly, 99.9999% of them all said the exact same words, being admin takes a lot of time that we don't have. And then the two words that followed that most of the time were two words that we never heard before, and they were suitability letters. They're a huge pain point, and they drain a lot of our resources and time. So we went back and thought, what are suitability letters? Let's dive deep into this. Let's see how we can solve it. Now, we're a very tech-driven business. We have quite a lot of experience within technology. And when we started to look at suitability letters and the process that involves creating these compliant documents that are, you need them for regulation to clients, we realized there's a huge pain point here that needs solving, and we can do something about it. And so we built our AI suitability writer. And so what I can say really is really focusing on solving this real pain point. And with that comes some of the challenges, which I think you also asked. So aside from the challenges of pivoting, because you need to find what the real pain point is, other challenges that we faced as a business is really AI. So AI is something that has become a bit of a buzzword, I think, across all industries. Specifically in finance, everybody wants to have something that involves AI, or everyone has AI somehow. But it can also be questioned. There's a lot of skepticism around AI, specifically in finance, because there's a lot of questions around data security, right? And when we look at wealth management, there's a huge question mark around data security and compliance and client data. So for us, this skepticism and the way we've built our product is very much focused on putting together secure protocols to ensure that client data is safe, because this is something that is paramount for our clients, which are wealth managers and firms that handle a lot of confidential data, but also to us, because if we're not able to provide this value, nobody's going to use us. So I think one of the big challenges was really getting to a place where we've got the right partnerships together, where we know we've got the right solution, where we've got the right security, so that we can provide this data security for our clients. And then I would say, sorry, yeah.
No, go ahead.
And then I would say with that is, since we've built the tool that we've got and we've gone to market, we've really seen quite a lot of traction. So We actually opened a wait list earlier, I want to say at the end of last month or at the beginning of this month. And the wait list has been growing, honestly, tremendously day by day through word of mouth and referrals. We have hundreds of firms now listed on the wait list, and we're slowly onboarding these firms. And some of the firms that we've onboarded are actually now our paying clients. So they've already gone onto the paid plan. So it's really exciting because we are seeing that we're actually solving a pain point, and that our tool is actually of value, which is the core of our business. We want to provide this value. But again, this is a challenge in the sense of we're a small business. There's a team of 5 of us. And when it comes to resources and time management, that's something that obviously needs to be looked at, and we need to prioritize. So now we've seen this demand, which is, there's worse problems to have, of course. If anything, it's a great thing. But having to, prioritize your resources and really find how you can serve your clients best is currently one of the challenges that we're facing.
Amazing. With regards to sort of the product and I suppose maybe even the business as a whole, I mean, what would you say then are the sort of unique selling points?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. And I'm sure, we probably touched upon a few earlier. First, I think what I want to highlight is the team, the strong team that we have as a business. I mentioned earlier, we're a small business. There's only 5 of us at the moment. There's 3 co-founders. The 3 co-founders of the business, the 3 of us all have a strong background in finance. We've worked for large corporates such as, the likes of Revolut, Deutsche Bank, Generali, MasterCard. So we bring in a lot of experience. But also what I would say is all of us have been previous entrepreneurs. So we kind of had the similar mindset. We are very able to be flexible, pivot, and be agile. And then what I would also add on to that is we've made some great hires. So the team that is 5 of us now, we have 2 software developers. They're brilliant. What I would say is a strong foundation of the business is really this strong team. And that's something that I would always highlight as a, I suppose, unique selling point about us. Then when we look really about the company and the product and the unique selling points of Avenir outside of the team, what I would say again is highlighting the priority when it comes to data accuracy and validation. So the approach that we took when we built the product itself, where the advisor has full control and is able to actually validate the information that is extracted at every step of the way so that the report is generated with the advisor, is something that's unique. No other firm out there or competitor, let's say, that is building a similar tool is doing this. And the reason we've done it is because we want to give advisors, 1, the control, but 2, the security that they can trust AI. And that's something that I mentioned in finance is paramount. So I would say that's a key selling point for us, as well as obviously the security protocols that we put around the data protection, which is key. And I think what I can also add on to that is, I mean, the partnerships and integrations that we have. So again, if I look at the product and how we've built the product, we've really focused on these strong partnerships and strong integrations with financial data providers, so that we're not only able to extract data from existing documents that, advisors upload, but also we're able to generate things like asset allocation charts and comparison graphs, pulling data from the providers that we're partnered up with, which I think also saves time and is of great value to the firms that are onboarded, because it saves them time from actually using a different provider or finding the data themselves or creating these charts themselves. So we're really focused on really building a product that streamlines time as much as possible. And the technology that we've built is actually, if I look at it, completely adaptable. So the tool itself, we've created templates that are compliant. We actually have a partnership with a power planning firm that have helped us build these templates. So it's that itself is great, but actually we can upload templates from existing firms and essentially leverage our AI to extract information from these documents and basically create these reports based on compliant documents from different firms. So that's something that I would say is quite a unique selling point too.
Awesome. I know you touched on a little bit there. Obviously, look, it's AI focused, but I mean, what are the sort of technologies that you guys and perhaps the software team are utilizing sort of day in, day out, for example?
Yeah, so what I would say is, I mean, I've mentioned it earlier, we really focus on AI. AI is the core of our product. But when we look at AI, I mean, there's different types of artificial intelligence. For us, the main of our product really focuses on natural language processing and machine learning. This is to essentially automate the data extraction element, but then also to build on the other side the report, so create that report. And then what I would say is we're currently also exploring how generative AI can really help us improve, interactions with our tool for firms. But what I have to also highlight is there's a lot of benefits with AI, but the one thing that we've really focused on when we've built the tool and when we're leveraging AI as a big technical component of it is we never want our AI to train on any of the documents that have been uploaded. So again, it's part of the mindset that we've built as a business on the data confidentiality element. Our AI doesn't train on information. It's not built for that purpose. It's actually built to look for very specific information from within the amounts of vast information that is uploaded into the tool.
Okay. Great. And when it comes to, look, obviously you guys are doing some exciting stuff. What about when it comes to the future? What are the future plans for the business, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm sure every business will give you a similar answer. There's always those short-term goals and the longer-term goals all in one. So if I look at the short-term goals and where we're positioned now, I briefly touched upon this earlier, but first and foremost, we've got a number of firms onboarded on our wait list. I think I mentioned earlier, it's close to 100 or just over 100 now because it keeps growing. So for us, the big focus for the next few months is really onboarding these firms onto our tool so that they can start using and, we can prove the value of what we've built through that. Also, because this generates a feedback loop. And for us, we're super focused on getting that feedback loop, which actually will help us develop better features. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, the onboarding of clients is key. So that is a huge focus right now. What I would also say, aside from the onboarding of clients, is also when it comes to the tool itself, creating more templates. So This is something that we can do. And when it comes to suitability letters themselves, there's many, many different types. So we have a roadmap of suitability letter templates. We have a few that we've already onboarded onto our tool. And we're constantly working on implementing new templates so that advisors have the flexibility to create as many reports as they want. But yes, what I would say with this as well is based on that client feedback on the onboarding is a lot of the roadmap and the features that we're building is very much based on the demand. Mm-hmm. So again, it's going back to that same point that I did right at the beginning, which is focusing on the real pain point and the real need is speak to your clients and let them help you make the decisions on where your business is going. So where is the demand? What is the next template they need based on that demand? So what are the best features? What should we have? That's kind of how we look at the business in the short term. It's really to create the best tool out there. And then in the long term, I think what I can say is, well, I mentioned earlier, the tool is completely adaptable to generate templates. So when I look at finance as a whole, we're currently tackling a small segment within finance, which is within wealth management, this suitability letter generation because of compliance. But finance itself is a highly regulated market. And when we look at different industries or segments in finance, let's say banking, insurance, mortgages, they all have reporting that they need to do because it's regulatory. So there's a lot of opportunities to really leverage our tool in different aspects within finance. And I think that's something that's quite exciting when we look at the future. But of course, this is more of a vision, I suppose, as opposed to something that we can act on in the next few months.
Of course. So in terms of this tool, how can financial advisors and power planners actually, test it or try it out?
Yeah, it's a great question. So actually now is the time to test it and trial it out. Okay. I've mentioned we've got a waitlist open. You can join the waitlist, connect with me via LinkedIn or through our website, which is joinavenir.com. If you join the waitlist, you will get a 2-week free trial access to the tool you can generate unlimited reports. We don't actually limit that. We want you to test it, try it, give us feedback. And following that trial, you can then sign up to a paid plan. Now, what I would say about the benefits of joining now is we currently have a very heavily discounted price for those, let's say, users that are on board now. Obviously, the more templates that we start to upload, the more features that we start to implement, the price will go up. So what I will say is join the waitlist now and try it. And then also for those advisors that are working under networks and those networks have templates that need using, don't be scared of leveraging us because we can actually work with your network to implement their templates on our tool. So if you can make introductions to financial advisory networks, that would be fantastic. I think that's something that would help you and ultimately us too. Like it's kind of a two-way relationship here, but I'm always flexible enough to do so.
Excellent. Final question for me, from your experience within entrepreneurship and obviously your experience so far with Avenir. I mean, is there any advice that you would give to other people that are, in that startup phase or beginning to build a company from scratch?
Absolutely. I'm going to repeat myself again and again and again.
That's
But
fine.
really focus on clients, focus on solving customer problems, not what you think the customer problem is. Focus on the problem, don't focus on the solution. You can love a solution as much as you can. We loved our first solution, but if it's not what customers want, you don't have a business. So be ready for that to be the case and be ready to pivot. Don't be afraid of it either. That's part of the journey. And if anything, it's a learning. Another thing that I would add, and again, is build a diverse team, build a team that is strong, that has expertise in different areas, that has different backgrounds. Again, whether it's in tech, whether it's in product design, whether it's, client-facing roles, build a diverse team. Ultimately, this will be core to your business. It's a key asset. And then again, if I go back to clients, which is a huge focus for me, it's seek their feedback. Don't be afraid of them giving you negative feedback. Again, use that to fuel your product, use that to fuel your business and make a better solution. So ultimately, it's this client centricity that is super important. And I would say, key to any business when you're starting. And again, if I have to share some words of wisdom, and I suppose my last parting I say feedback would be have a bold vision, and that will keep you really in line, but be prepared for the journey and be prepared to pivot, be prepared to change, be prepared to be flexible. I would say those are the key tips I would give.
Excellent. Great advice. Okay, fantastic. Look, that's all from me. I suppose just wanted to take the time to say thanks again for sitting down with me today. I really enjoyed it. And as always, like I'll be sure to tag you and obviously the business in the post, so that people can obviously look into Avenir more and potentially reach out to you if interested as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jack. Appreciate it.